Go to 1667. This is Christianity. Before you turn to your neighbor and say, this is Christianity. So now we have to convert black people. We've got to convert these Negroes. We've got to convert these Indians. Yeah. So there's an African man named Fernando. He comes from Europe. He presents his papers in Portuguese. He says, I am Christian. I have a license to prove it. And they say, no, you're not. Turn to your neighbor and say, no, you're not. You're black. Okay. So you're going to be enslaved. It doesn't work here. What words did I use earlier in terms of the institution of religion? What did I say? Regulatory, organizing, body, institution, for the purpose of shaping cultural mindsets, attitudes, behaviors, all of it. So you got it. Does that make sense? Okay. And so, if we baptize these black babies, what's going to happen? They're going to be free. So we've got to do something about it. Turn to your neighbor and say, we've got to do something about that. So they say, whereas some doubts have arisen whether children that are slaves by birth and by the charity and piety of their owners made partakers of the blessed sacrament of baptism should by virtue of their baptism be made free, it is enacted and declared by this grand assembly and the authority thereof that the conferring of baptism doth not alter the condition of the person as to his bondage or freedom, that diverse masters free from this doubt may more carefully endeavor the propagation of Christianity by permitting children, those slaves or those of greater growth as capable, to be admitted to that sacrament, so you can be baptized, but you won't be free. Turn to your neighbor and say, you will remain enslaved. So as Africans and Native Americans began to be converted to Christianity, such a simple distinction between Christian and non-Christian was no longer useful, at least as a legal and political difference. So I'm going to give you an example of that, right? So if they now have to replace the term Christian as a legal category, so you have Christian, freeborn, Indian, Negro. Those are the legal categories that you see being used in these laws during the 17th century, during the 1600s. But if we're now transitioning Indians and blacks, how do we distinguish ourselves? Do we say free Christians or not free Christians? What do we say? So there's a transition between the 1660s and the 1730s, roughly, where these Europeans are calling themselves Christian, but then they transition to whiteness. So whiteness is synonymous with Christian. Does that make sense?
Oh my goodness.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?